More Than a Horse is a little podcast that I do from time to time to make people aware of horses, I suppose, in harness racing and what they've achieved over the journey. And we've done some with some 4 rock stars, I think, of harness racing. But I'm going to try and open it up a little bit. Grant Campbell joins me. Grant, we're going to start this. One, you're my brother. For a lot of people who may or may not know, you take some things for granted from time to time that people know it. But in the background, we've got a horse known as Onthecrestofawave, but more affectionately known as Layne, and you've recently announced her retirement.
Yeah, that's right. Probably a little bit of a hard decision to make. She's no superstar, but she's been a really lovely, honest horse to us. But just a little bit limited in the opportunities for her on the racetrack, and she's now up to racing the stronger mares in Victoria, and I'm pretty sure over the next couple of months those mares races are going to get quite a bit harder. So it's one of those decisions at this time of year, you either make the call now to breed or you go another 12 months. Little bit, some of the owners were keen to race her on, but, you know, it's more a financial decision. And obviously, you delay it 12 months, you're another 12 months down the track until you hopefully get a live foal on the ground. So, yeah, we made the decision before. Well, it's been on our minds for a little while, and the decision was made before Bendigo the other night that would be her last run. So, yeah, she'll head to stud very soon.
She was actually terrific at Bendigo. I've just got the video playing down the bottom corner, but she was it was actually a terrific swan song really for her, wasn't it? That she she didn't win. If she had won, probably would have made the decision look a little bit silly, saying she can't keep up with the best, because Amelia Rose and Good Time Heaven are 2 of the better mares going around. I mean, Amelia Rose is only a 3-year-old filly, but she's got a lot ahead of her. But Good Time Heaven, they don't get any better than her, and she was a solid run. But the funny part about her race the other night at Bendigo, you've alluded to me a few times, you need the speed on, and the slowest quarter nearly to be that last one, and she's dangerous, and she proved that at Bendigo, even in the last race, didn't she?
Yeah, that's right. Look, she's not as good as the best mares going around. She's a long way off them, but she's got a really good turn of eye speed. She's shown that off the mobile quite a bit. The problem when you use her off the mobile, that you're just taking a bit away from her at the finish. The other night was a race where we had Delightful Mia drawn inside us and was pretty confident that we couldn't cross it. She's a very fast mare herself. So we decided to go back and drive her for luck. And fortunately, there was good speed on, good mid-race pressure. That allowed her, you know, the right run in the race to be dangerous late. Unfortunately, she just got out a little bit too late. I think if I could have got clear on the home turn and got to the outside, she was a bit of a chance of maybe running over the top of them. But she still finished the race off really well. And look, we're still more than happy with our decision that she's going out. And that shows that she's in really healthy condition. She's a very sound horse. So there's no reason why she can't go to the paddock and you know, be a really good brood mare straight away.
I've just got the video up right now, and it's at the, I suppose, the 300-metre mark here, and you're dead set looking for a run, aren't you? Like, you were just travelling a lot better than the horses in front of you, and then the sprint lane comes, and she hit the line terrific. As I said, chasing 2 quality mares home, and not getting overrun by a couple of other quality mares out wider.
Yeah, that's right. Like, I think if I could have followed Jaden off the fence around the home corner and got to his outside, I think she would have gone close to winning, but David was coming out wider and that gap was closing, so then I elected to go back to the fence and just got held up a little bit. But yeah, still super proud of her run, and as I said, she's not the best mare, but she's going to stud with a pretty good record, and she's won over 100,000, and yeah, we're just hoping that she can breed something with her high speed and maybe a little bit more stamina. She's never been known for being super strong. She was probably, in her younger days, she could do more work in her racing. But as she's got older and the mares have got stronger, she hasn't been able to do that sort of work. But she's still shown that she's got, you know, very, very good high speed.
I'm going to play one of the other races. I actually like this one because I was on another show and I tipped her to win, and God bless her, she actually did win on that occasion for me, but it's at Maryborough. And one of the reasons I wanted to highlight this is she's not she's got a few little quirks about her, I suppose is the right way to say it. She hits a knee pretty hard, as you said. She wears a little bit of gear. But they don't get any more honest than what she is in this race. We only just started the video, so you don't have to worry, Greenie. But just up the straight, you're looking for a run. You start moving wide at the top of the straight, and I'll blow it up for people when we get to that stage. And you just had to check because you were nearly going to get a holiday if she'd have kept coming out as hard as what she was doing. You checked, you pulled her back out, and then she just savages the line, doesn't she? She's just got a terrific will to win.
Yeah, she has, and she's just got a real brilliant turn of foot. Like she can go from a reasonably good tempo to electric fast in a stride, and that's what she does off the mobile. When you come off the gate, you've only got to give her a little bit of rein and one little flick on the bum, and her next 50 metres is just really fast. And that day, she was in really good order that day at Maryborough. We were really, really happy with her. We were relying on luck. We chose to follow the one out that day, thinking that it might hold the front, I'm pretty sure, and then it did eventually hand up. So we got buried a little bit, and I was a little bit keen to try and get her into clear because I thought she'd run on really well, and she proved that day that she did. And yeah, you did have to be a tiny little bit careful of her at times that she could accelerate into a position pretty quickly that you had to think pretty quickly about what you were doing next. Some horses, you've got that extra split second to think about what you're doing, but she could move, go from A to B pretty quickly. And unfortunately, that was a heat of the Mares Sprint Championship, and we just had a little tiny issue with her after that, nothing major at all, and it meant that we missed the final. So she's never raced in any big races, but she was probably going to start favourite in a Vicbred Platinum 2-year-old fillies race at Melton one night, and she won the heat very comfortably and was favourite for the final, and again had a little issue and missed that, and then she missed that Mare Sprint Championship after that Maryborough race. And yeah, she didn't get a big win on the board, but she still did us proud and has a really good record, and we're hoping that she can continue the good family ties that we have with her family as far as breeding goes.
Absolutely. I like irony, Granny, and I find some of the irony in some things that I've come across. The placings in that race at Maryborough was your mare, trained by yourself and Karen, beating Courtney Slater's horse and Emma Stewart's. And if you go to Saturday night's race, Emma Stewart beat one of Courtney Slater's horses, and you guys ran third. I find that just a tricky little thing. But you can just see there on picture, and I've got a picture of that picture there. She's got a beautiful stride, other than wearing the spreaders. At this occasion, she had a high head check. She actually lost the head check eventually and all the rest, but you can just see how genuine she is in that photo right there on screen. Granny, more than a horse is actually it's about telling a story more than the horses, what these horses actually mean to you. She's actually hiding behind you in the camera, Granny. You don't know that because she's stuck behind you there, but this horse was not the best horse you guys have had. You guys have had some really nice horses over your journey, like with the likes of Arden Rooney and a few others. To name, all their names just left me. Mr. Majido's name came up today. You had some really nice horses. Now she's gone and moved again. She's a darling, this little horse. She just wants to make life harder. But horses like this mean the world to both yourself and to Karen, don't they? And you really have a soft spot for them.
Yeah, look, she's one of the few. We don't have a lot of young horses around us these days. We're probably looking to maybe get a few more in the future, but she's one that we had pretty much from day one. She was sort of a little bit of irony there as well. She was foaled down and raised at Benstud, which is where she will go back to finish off her career as a broodmare. They looked after her wonderfully. They broke her in for us, and then we pretty much did everything with her after that. So she's been one that's sort of been here the whole time. We took her to Maryborough at her first start, thinking that she went okay, not really knowing what she would do. Really surprised that she got out and flew up straight and went 158 or something that day, and we did not expect it at all. And it was a lovely surprise. And she goes back. Her breeding is one of the things that why we're so keen to breed from her, and that is that there's been a lot of winners out of that family here at Great Western. Ken Salmon's the managing owner and has been part of pretty much every horse that has raced out of either Federal Cabinet or Don't Tell Lib. Don't Tell Lib was here probably 20 years ago was a little bit of a funny little mare herself. She could try and kick you out of the cut. And there's been a few quirks through the family, and this little mare, she has had her little quirks at times. But yeah, you go back, so Federal Cabinet was probably the matriarch of Ken's breed, and then Don't Tell Lib was out of her, and then Our Surfer Girl was out of Don't Tell Lib, and now this mare is out of Don't Tell Lib. Out of Our Surfer Girl, sorry. So, yeah, I'm not a real breeding buff, but I look at the good breeders, and it appears they sort of keep moving with the times and breeding out of daughters of their good families and going to the right stallions, and they obviously breed a lot more than what Ken has with this family, so they're going to get more success. But it appears to be a successful way to do it, and that's what we're hoping we can do with this mare down the track.
And that's one of the key parts. The breeding side of it. This one actually appeals to me. You alluded to me just there before that yourself and Karen are probably going to stay involved in this mare through the next phase of her life. Like, I mean, it's not just, well, we've raced her, then she's going to move on. You guys are going to go to the next stage of her life. You're not actually going to follow her down as such, but you're going to take part in the breeding and potentially raising and racing the foals if they're good enough?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it's unfortunate in one way that some of the owners who have raced her aren't staying in her to breed on with her. So Karen and I are actually going to take that on and be part of it. And, that's some of those decisions have been made based on, the recent announcements with the Vicbred bonuses and things like that, where, we've been very fortunate to have a lot of success in this industry. And, I think I was thinking of it the other day, when we start in this career, we seem to want to be drivers and we're never going to be trainers. And then you eventually get to an age where you decide, well, yeah, I might have a go at the training. And now it's just progressed on to, let's have a go at the breeding as well. And, we've known this mare, we know all her traits, we know her speed, we know her family. So we're really keen to stay part of it. And the opportunity came up to be involved. So, so she's not going to a Vicbred pure stallion. There was some debate as to who she would go to, but we've elected for American Ideal as her first choice. But I will say we give very serious thought to a horse like Poster Boy. I do believe that our local stock of colts will do a very good job at stud if they get the right opportunity. And there's not to say that we might not choose Poster Boy in the next year or two for her. So, I think watching what he did on the track here and watching what the opportunities that the young horses get in America, I honestly believe that if Poster Boy raced in America, he would be possibly close to a $2 million earner and probably could have gone 148 or better. And he would come out here with far greater statistics. When I say far greater, maybe far more impressive numbers than what he has here. So I don't think that detracts from the horse in any way as being a progressive stallion in the future.
I love looking after my sponsors, and you've done a great job there. I've already got Woodlands down the bottom, Benstud, Standardbreds, and Calf Macintosh. And then you go and do the double whammy because you've also given another one of Northern Rivers Equine stallions a plug, Bill and Ann Anderson. If they're watching this, they will love it. But Mark Hughes, so she's going to American Ideal, and both you say about, it's interesting listening to you about what works at your track. Maybe not your best horses, but a couple of horses that I think you guys have a fair soft spot in. Glenn and Link at your farm were both American Ideals, and would that have had some sort of, I suppose, incentive to breed to American Ideal? And I forgot both their names actually. All of a sudden, Yankee Lincoln and I forgot Glenn's name altogether.
Yeah. Sorry,
you better say that again. Just cut out.
Ideal Success.
Ideal Success. Does that have a little bit of a bearing on going to him, like you're saying with her family it works there? Is it a bit of that family seems to work at Great Western as well?
Yeah, it does. Obviously, when you've had progeny by a stallion that have gone well, you remember them. American Ideal speaks for himself. He's just a gun sire. you watch a lot of the big racing in America, and there's a lot of American ideals in them big, the big juvenile races. He seems to be able to produce, good young horses, and they can go on, which is a good thing. But to be honest, I'm not a professional at all in it. I do ask the advice of the professionals when it comes to this, and her owner, Ken Salmon, and managing owner, he did a bit of homework speaking to people that he knows in Peter Gleeson and, Brett Coffey and Peter Judd as to what would be a good cross for this mare. And they were all of agreement that American Idea would be a good cross for her. She was bred sort of very similarly. We actually, I, on behalf of the owners, did a little bit of homework and mainly got your right advice from the right people. And that was Stephen O'Donoghue put me onto a gentleman who I would love to be able to mention his name, but I can't remember it, sorry. And he did a breeding analysis on our Surfer Girl, and his suggestions were that she be bred to Arts Play Stallions. And so now the only two horses to race out of our Surfer Girl have been Onthecrestofawave by Modern Art and Watley's Wombat, who was by Art Major, who unfortunately suffered a career-ending injury. He's living a life of leisure now, but he was probably going to be a very similar horse to her. No superstar, but very honest. He won two 2-year-olds and a 3-year-old, and I believe he would have gone on and, had a similar record to her. So, yeah, it's more about sticking with what has been proven, and that was one of the deciding factors with American Ideal. But as you said, and having some of his progeny and knowing that they're very nice horses. So.
And they handle the unique track that you guys have. You said about the Vicbred bonuses and the 12,000 was attractive. The extra $2,000 though going into, because American Ideal is going to be standing at Northern Rivers Equine, so he's here in Victoria, domiciled here. She's a Vicbred mare. Your mare will be she'll be staying at Benstud. So effectively, you're now eligible for the 9,000, not the 7,000. So it makes breeding a little bit more enticing. And then you also have in the back of your mind, do we go to a Colonial Stallion in the year after it and the likes as well, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. And so probably, obviously it's magnificent, these Vicbred bonuses, and it was hard maybe not to go to a Colonial Stallion straight away. One of the other deciding factors was that obviously American Ideal, I don't know his exact age, but he's been around a little while, and I don't know how much longer he will be available to us. So we wanted to try and get in whilst we still could. If Poster Boy sets the world on fire and we want to go to him down the track, he might be a little bit dearer than what he is this year, but you still make that sacrifice if you believe that it's the right cross. And there was some enticing things about his breeding that we were keen to go to as well, based on what we were told with our Surfer Girl and with this mare. So look, I hope the bonuses have encouraged more people to breed. We've only got this mare, and obviously her mother is in foal. Again, she's due to foal to Always Be Mickey this year, and she's got a lovely Vincent yearling on the ground. And due to the Vicbred bonuses all going well, she will hopefully be served by Vincent again after she falls down to Always Be Mickey. So long as she gets in, she's a little bit late foaling this year, so we don't want to go too late. But then again, with the extension of the racing season now being January 1, that sort of it sort of outweighs that a little bit. So if everything goes well with that falling down, she'll be served by Vincent, and then hopefully there's a $12,000 bonus if the horse is good enough down the track.
I'm going to do a follow of this mare. I'm not going to do. There's a couple of segments that are done. I think one's called Follow the Foal and the likes, and I think they're all sensational. And I just want to compliment it. I'm not trying to outdo them or anything else like that. But definitely with the help of Woodlands, Kath McIntosh, Benstud won't have a worry at all with me being on farm. We're just going to trace this horse's history and the fact of it'll eventually end up back at Great Western in about 2 years' time, hopefully, and be an absolute superstar. So we'll probably do a bit of a track going through. Grant, you do a lot of things outside of just working horses and the likes behind the scenes in harness racing. The breeding scheme, you and I have both spoke about it a few times. Has it invigorated you? Like, because breeding is not something you do. I know myself and Marie definitely do, and we have for a long period of time, but it's something that hasn't been on the radar for yourself, other than Kez's beautiful miniature ponies. The bonuses, do you think that it's actually invigorated people to look at breeding all of a sudden?
Look, I really hope so, Polly. Yeah, it's definitely played a part in us. You know, there's obviously quite a few factors. This mare's been around here. We really like her. She's got good high speed. The one thing that was it's on the back of our mind is she does hit her knee. Unfortunately, it doesn't worry her. She's a horse that she hits her knee very fast. So that's a good thing. The ones that hit their knee and go very slow are the issues. It'd be really nice if that's not a trait that she breeds through. But that's just something we'll deal with. It would appear now that the faster the horses are going, the more they are brushing a knee, the young horses. We've had a few here, a few other horses that brushed their knee when they were younger, and they seem to be growing out of it. So we're hopeful that is the case with her. But, yeah, I really hope that it does invigorate breeding a bit. You know, we need to. It's common knowledge that our breeding stock has dropped a lot over the years. But I really hope people do get in and have a crack and support the local stallions a little more. Because as I said, I honestly believe that some of our best colts that are now going to stud are very well bred. They're out of the best families that have raced here in Australia, and some of them have some American blood through them as well. They're by some of the best stallions that we've had stand here in Art Major and Better's Delight and American Ideal, with Soho Tribeca. So there's, and as I said earlier, I really do honestly believe that if they raced in America, they would have 2 or 3 or 4 times the amount of money next to their name. You watch the money on offer over there is incredible. I know they can't win it all, but, Tall Dark Strange is a superstar. He goes around in, he probably doesn't race in races worth less than $200,000, and he's won $2 million races already this year. So,
yep.
I really hope it does. We need people to get behind the breeding and try and boost our numbers and continue harness racing for as long as we can.
Tall Dark Stranger, Granny, you done the right thing by Woodlands. Again, he's by Better's Delight. But he's an interesting one. He's the best horse in the world at the minute, but he's actually out of an Art Major mare. So if they bring him down to Australia, he's going to have a fair limitation on mares that'll be able to go to him. So a little mare like Layne might be on the radar for him if they do bring him down. But that's neither here nor there. Granny, I've enjoyed this, and as I said, I want to try and continue just to follow it with the help of those sponsors that I've got there. I think we'll be able to do it and follow her through. Also want to do some more with you going forward. I want to try and do some, a bit more chatter because I think people find you interesting. I'll leave it at that. Whether people comment that they want more or less of the 2 Campbells, who knows? But we can talk for a long time, and you didn't get a word out there. It didn't come through, so that was good, whatever you said. So it worked really good. Grano, thank you very much, mate. And I reckon we'll follow this American Ideal out of On the Crest of a Wave through the journey. And, with the help of these guys, I'm sure we'll be able to do something. And good luck for you guys in the future.
Thank you. Fingers crossed with the superstar.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Polly.